first thing a woman does after being reborn is to pretend not to hear her mother-in-law's thoughts. This is only because, in her previous life, she was the only one in the entire family who could hear the mute mother-in-law's thoughts. When the mother-in-law was hospitalized, she couldn't get used to the hospital food. Deep down, she was craving the steamed buns the woman made. Upon learning this, the woman immediately went home to make meat buns and brought them to her. However, as soon as the mother-in-law took a bite, her body broke out in red rashes. After checking, the nurse found that peanut butter had actually been added to the buns. The nurse immediately scolded the woman, saying she clearly knew the mother-in-law was allergic to peanut butter. Yet, the woman had deliberately put peanut butter in the buns. The woman explained that she hadn't added it, but no one believed her words. Her hot-tempered husband and brother-in-law even angrily beat her. At first, the woman thought this was an accident. It wasn't until the day of the mother-in-law's surgery. The woman heard the mother-in-law's thoughts again. The mother-in-law told her to go home and get some change of clothes. Without overthinking, the woman went home and brought back the bag that held the mother-in-law's clothes. However, when the nurse opened it, they found that it actually contained funeral clothes. Seeing this, the mother-in-law almost fainted from anger on the spot. The nurse took the lead in scolding the woman for being vicious again. They also incited all the patients and medical staff in the hospital to condemn her. Her husband and brother-in-law even punched her hard. This caused the woman's head to hit the wall, and she died on the spot. But unexpectedly, in the next second, the woman was reborn and returned to the day, and the mother-in-law wanted to eat meat buns. To avoid the tragedy of her previous life, this time, the woman could only pretend not to hear the mother-in-law's thoughts. Just then, the brother-in-law received a call from his company. The company was going to select who was the most filial person in the company. The woman took this as an excuse to go home with the brother-in-law and help him come up with ideas. Unexpectedly, the mother-in-law pulled her and wouldn't let her leave. Seeing this, the nurse quickly suggested that if the mother-in-law had something to say, she could write it down in a notebook. Only then did the mother-in-law write that she wanted to eat meat buns. Helplessly, the woman had to agree, but she used the company's filial piety selection as an excuse to urge the brother-in-law to make the meat buns for the mother-in-law, and she stood aside, taking videos and photos the entire time. On that day, after the mother-in-law ate the buns, she had an allergic reaction again. Seeing this, the nurse was about to scold the woman immediately. Her husband also wanted to hit her. However, the woman took the initiative to turn the tables first and question the brother-in-law why he wanted to harm the mother-in-law.